Hey, what is up? Do you know what time it is? So the time is to take on another UX challenge. And this time is going to be a different type of challenge. It's going to be about ideation. Those awesome, super sexy, emerging tech type of projects. I know everybody's so keen to get their fingers on everything emerging because you want to feel up to date and competent with the market just in case if a job opportunity on a client comes in who need that type of support. And so on that note, today I want to share with you a blog post based challenge. And it doesn't mean you have to write a blog post. It just means you have to read my blog post. I tried to almost like add a few notes and my thinking and my thought process behind why, for example, crypto, the Web3, the NFT, the decentralized technology market is lacking so much on the UX. And this is gonna work like a perfect background because I'm gonna show you a tweet from Charles Hoskinson, who's one of the original members of Ethereum team, a maker of Cardano, the ADA token. He basically earlier in the year dropped this tweet and said, a visual representation of a current cryptocurrency user experience. And then you have this basically. And I cannot agree more. For example, if you take someone like Paul Graham, who's a VC, prominent investor on Twitter as well, and he's saying that what novel technology will do for cryptocurrency, GUIs or graphical user interface did for personal computers and the web did for the internet. If you have even an inkling of answer, the expected value of that insight is enormous. I feel like this is the area which is super untapped. And please already put on your ideation hats because as I walk through it, I'm sure you're gonna get some brand new ideas and problems to solve, but just follow me for a second. And so in this article, in this brief, I describe exactly why that matters and why is it so overlooked. For example, right now, majority of a blockchain or decentralized technology space is technology driven. It's not really optimized for user experience. It's not building on the human factors and psychology, let's say. It's almost the opposite because everybody taps into it and gets into it because of the greed and excitement instead of the trust, let's say, or actual human need-based benefit. And this is what I'm describing in this, let's see, infographic, that focusing on feasibility and technology and business almost like as a secondary thing, if it sticks, focusing on people is exactly why you have such a poor adoption, poor engagement, and something which cannot put crypto or any tokenized solution in mainstream. You know, it's like it's almost untold of. Now, the opposite of that would be starting with UX. You know how much of a zealot I am when it comes to UX and user research and understanding the actual people because it's made by people, but it's not yet made for people. And I think the opposite of that is taking one of those, let's say, a design thinking type of overlaps of technology, business, and the user and finding that medium and driving with actual user insights. Other bits which I'm describing in this challenge is really just examples of patterns, of ideas which people want to take on. You know, I'm not even touching about the decentralized exchanges or the trading of cryptocurrencies. You know, that's the easy bit. Even there is a lot of UX work to be done. But what I want you to think about is the customer experiences which could be empowered by that decentralized tokenization, which could be anything. It doesn't have to be UI. It doesn't have to be something which we just think about and we limit ourselves with. There shouldn't be any limits. And a prime example of that is this example, let's say, where we're still thinking about computing device, payment card, consumer, and then a lot of technology type of bits to define the pattern about how does it feed into blockchain, how does it update a simple database ultimately, and how does that tie into payment network so that you can use crypto on your payment card. What's missing here is this exchange, this should be at the center of it instead of almost like an afterthought. For example, Visa is trying to embed the tokens into digital media, and this specific patent is exactly on that, where if you buy it once, let's say on Netflix, imagine that license or that blockchain based information would be accessible to other things like, let's say, Amazon Prime. So you could watch that same movie on other devices because you buy it once and that license just lives on a blockchain, easily accessible to others. And on the flip side, you have other bits like which are not even UI related, where Ford wants to do something where different drivers can exchange information between each other and have penalty points. And so the cryptocurrency really becomes almost like this trust system where if you drive a Ford and someone else drives a Ford near you and you let them pass, you earn a currency or you earn some sort of, reward, and they get and it takes out of their wallet. So it's not actual money which is being exchanged, but it's actual some sort of trust token and some sort of favor token, which then can be used, let's say, to redeem something. And so we're working as well on that, so that the cars could become part of a bigger network and they could all be tapping into the same database in a blockchain to understand those values and then almost transact with each other. I hope I didn't lose you yet, because there's a lot here. But on the flip side, what I want you to do is to do the opposite. I want you to just take this as an inspiration. I want you to go and research a little bit about NFTs, maybe a bit about blockchain, maybe about the future of it. Maybe you can employ some sort of futures thinking and put that hat on and start with the optimal experience for customers, for the users. You cannot almost approach this challenge without enough research, but it's also not your typical UX project, which you can then, make into a case study. For example, the brief itself is very simple. I would like you to first and foremost find a problem around you and think about how, let's say, a blockchain or decentralized exchange or NFTs or Web3 type of technology, which is powered by blockchain, could be answered. Because now we're bridging that cyberspace and the metaverse into our livelihood. You could just ideate to anything, like that Ford example of, different trucks or cars talking with each other, ultimately, and exchanging some tokens. And I want you to ideate exactly. If you take that problem you have, put it through how might we lens, let's say. I have a few examples of how to do that easily. Think about the opportunity areas. Try to speculate exactly what that idea could look like if you would apply, let's say, blockchain to it, and then prioritize it. Come up with way more than you could do. Let's say maybe it's something like a voting experience, let's say, which I'm very passionate about, because voting experience, that just doesn't work. If you would put that on blockchain and allow people to have their access and it would be publicly available to an extent at least, then you could have different wallets, you could have different apps and things of that nature feeding out of that. So you'd create a new service, new experience layer. So come up with way too many ideas, way too many crazy ideas. Don't limit yourself. And then prioritize it. What's valuable? What's feasible? Is it very complicated? Try to find the low-hanging fruits first and foremost, then maybes and worthy investments, and then go for it. And the outcome is very simple. What I would want you to do is really describe it. Maybe you can sketch a storyboard. Maybe you just need to define it in text. Maybe you can create a Twitter feed. Maybe you can write an article. Doesn't matter what format it is. All I want you to do is really just to go through this process, capture it as much as you can, maybe put it on Miro or Figma or something, and then sketch out a storyboard of that future experience. This is gonna put you out there. This is gonna make you think out of the box and also force you to do a little bit of research about the actual technology. And my goal with this is that, one, is gonna allow you to learn more about the space. Two, is gonna allow you to ideate and apply a bit more of a design thinking principles and methods. And three, come up with a blog post or a case study in the end using that for emerging tech, which you could use to get a job in the industry, or at least a know-how, because we need that. We need more UX in that field. We need more UX in the actual industry, in the blockchain, in the decentralized Web3, or whatever you call, whatever niche or vertical you tackle. And as you know, a challenge wouldn't be a challenge without a deadline. And I'm gonna give you 4 weeks as usual, which would bring us to, I guess, 12th of December, very close to Christmas. And so that would be a deadline. As per usual, make sure to tap into Discord community and maybe exchange some ideas, or maybe do a joint effort. Why the hell not? Because it's ideation. It's something you could do in a workshop. It's something you could tap into different skill set and maybe arrive as a team, or do it individually. It's as simple as that. I'm looking forward to your submissions. As per usual, make sure to drop a line at hello@vaexperience.com, maybe add a few notes, or leave a comment down below if you have questions. I'm gonna try to answer it, but I'm definitely looking forward to your submissions. And on that note, I'll see you next time.